Continuing our Friday night sports show, and Jace, we've got football being played in Riverina and Farrer leagues. Let's take a look at the Riverina first. And last weekend, what a performance it was when they came out to play tough football. The GGGM Lions 13-19-97 beat the arch rivals, the Coolaman Rovers, the Grasshoppers 4-7-31. What a performance from GGGM. They have shown at Ganmain why they're the top side along with Mangalapar at the moment. Those two really going for it. Alexander and McCraig with 4 apiece. Corbett booted 3 for the winners, and Olsen, Proctor and McCraig, their better players. Redford a couple for Coolaman. Maslin, Macaulay and McGowan played okay on the day. Disappointing loss though for Coolaman. And MCUE Goannas 11-17-83 beating Collingully 7-8-50. The Goannas continue their top of the table form. They did it from the start, albeit though Collingully challenged them in the third quarter when they booted 5-0. It was 6 behinds actually kicked by the Goannas, but it was a magnificent response at three-quarter time. The Goannas said, no way, they'll put their foot on the table right now on the throat of the D's, and they were able to beat them, the Goannas. Perryman with 4 for Collingully. E. Perryman, Jay Schultz and Crackenthorpe were the better players. Cracker of a game there from him. And Lawrence and Kendall and Keogh all booted 2 for Mangalapar. And Turnbull, Schiller, Keogh and Hindmarsh were named their better players. Other matches saw the Wagga Tigers in a dour shootout there against Turvey Park, 11-14 to 11-5. It was a close one in the end. It was mainly kept close because of the inaccuracy from Wagga, that Turvey came home with a wet sail in the last quarter, 3-1, but it wasn't enough. They had Willett with 4 goals and Ross with 3. Stapleton and Cunningham booted 2. Fellows, Harris and Willett the better players, and it was Ryan and Morton and Falkenberg the better players for the Wagga Tigers, and Bance, Flanagan and Cook who were named as those that played well in that side. Finally, it was a win in Narandera. They've sung that theme song again for the second time this season. They've beaten the Griffith Swans and consigned the Swans to the bottom echelon of the ladder, 14-6-90 to 12-11-83. Great performance from McKay, booted 4. He was their best player at the Eagles. Van Buren and Metcalf and Durnan all booted 2 along with Tui, and they had Williams and Patterson join in being good players, whilst Delves booted 6 for Griffith, and Powell and the other Powell boy, Summers and Delves, the better players for the vanquished. The premiership table, it shows Mangalapar 7 from 7 and top of the table. GGGM Lions are 7 with 1 loss. They played the extra game. And then Coolaman 5 and 2, Wagga Tigers 4 and 3. It is Collingully 3 and 4, Turvey Park 2 and 5, Narandera 2 and 5 in 7th, Griffith on 1 and 6, and Leighton Whitten 1 and 6. So the Riverina towns from right out there on the Murrumbidgee in Griffith and Leighton are struggling away. The Narandera Eagles coming up above them into 7th place. So well done to them, big improvers in the competition. And looking at Farrer football, winners, Northern Jets 17-11 to Collyamberley Blues, 11 goals, 6, and it was a pretty good win. I think the Jets would be pretty happy with that performance up at home at Ardlethan, whereas disappointing, the big long road trip for Collyamberley and not much to drive home with. Hodge a couple from them, and Steele, Clark and Light, who were named in their better players. Other matches had Marra Bombers a 10-goal win over Barellan Blues, 19-13 to 9-6. That was at Barellan. And then a close one, East Wagga Coringal Hawks 8-15 to beat Charles Sturt University 8-11. And then the Rock Erin Creek 24-12, 156 thrashing Temora Kangaroos, 4 goals, 3-27. It was a big lead from start to finish. They never headed up, and maybe the last quarter just ran out of puff. Only kicked the 2 goals, 7, when the rest of the quarters were 9 in the first, 6 in the second, 7 in the third, and just a couple there in the last by the Maggies. Bierman with 5, Williams with 4, Brain with 4, Russell 3, Kerrin and Walter with 2 apiece. D. Bierman, A. Ridley, D. Cook, Z. Brain, H. Russell and R. Bud better players for the Magpies. That puts them up into contention again in the ladder positions, and the ladder positions do show that it is Mara on top. They have had a really good season. They are 7-1. It's Wagga Saints 6-2. At the Rock, Yering Creek in third place, 6-2, joined by East Wagga Hawks. That's 6-2. The Jets are in fifth, 4-4. Charles Sturt 4-4, still in touch with that top four. Whilst Barellan 2-6, Colliamberley 1-7, and Temora 0-8 make up the placings. And look at the games this weekend for both Farrer and Riverina. Firstly, Farrer, Northern Jets and Oriah Park take on Mara. Mara should win. It is North Wagga against Temora, easily at McPherson Oval, the Saints. Charles Sturt University, Colliamberley. I think Charles Sturt University beat the Lowly Blues. And then the Rock Yering Creek play East Wagga Coringal in the match of the round. And this one at the Rock. I reckon Magpies maybe just to get home here. Over in Riverina football, the games are scheduled like this. So we see Coolman Rovers play Narandra. Gee, there's a bit of rivalry here, but I think at Kindred Park, Coolman get back to some winning form, and poor old Narandra will have to getting another win this season last week. But for Narandra, not this week, in my opinion there. They'll try hard, though. Turvey Park at Griffith should give themselves still a chance for that top four, the Bulldogs, and win. MCUE, Goannas play Leeton Whitten. It's the top and the bottom. It's going to be a big win for the Mangalapar boys. And Wagga Tigers and Collingully in a very interesting game. That one could go right down to the wire. Wagga Tigers may be at home, but Collingully will throw everything at them in this match as they come in the Glenwood Park and Collingully boys. It is a big weekend of Riverina and Farrer footy.